Hair? Hair good? Okay.
All right, yeah, whenever you're ready to go.
Okay. My name is Dee Perkins. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I am also the board chair of CSU Youth Services from 25 to 2027. And this is my coming out story. Well, when I thought about coming out, I didn't really consider coming out. I figured I was born, started crying, was like, ooh, who is that hot ass doctor right there? I'm sure my family all knew. I was always the effeminate child. I was always the book nerd. I was always the sensitive child, right? But I guess what I would call my official coming out, when I knew the terminology and I knew what it meant to come out, was my 17th birthday. My mother allowed me to pick where we went for vacation that year, because it was the year I graduated high school, and I picked New York. Because at the time I was really into fashion. I mean, I still am into fashion, but I was really into fashion, and I knew that was like the epicenter. And my family's from New Jersey, so it was nothing for us to visit often. So we visited New York. She picked a date. When she picked a date, even though I was 17, I was sneaking into Christie's Toy Box and purchasing Out and Advocate magazine. So I knew that it was New York City Pride. And I'd never been to Pride. I was 17 from Oklahoma. I was about to go to OU the next fall. So I was super excited. And so all this anticipation builds. My mom says we're going to a parade. Doesn't tell us that we're going to Pride, but I know in the back of my head that's where we're going. And so we go from Jersey to New York City to Greenwich Village, and the subway is packed, and it's all these beautiful queer people. And it was the first time I'd been in a space where it was predominantly queer people. And it was me, my mom, my younger brother, my cousin, her kids. It was just a big party. So the parade starts, and my mom's like, okay, too much. Overstimulating. So my brother and I stay at the front of the gate watching the parade. And he and I are having a really good time. My brother is cis, het, straight male. And we just have a really good time at the parade. And essentially what happens is trans females start walking the parade topless. So I always remember the moment when I look at his face to see his reaction to topless trans females who are pre-op bottom. So they have huge bazongas in a huge package, and I turn and look at his face, and he looks utterly confused. More confused than I've ever seen him in his life to this point. And he goes and finds my mom, and I just stay up there and I meet new people, and they're all like, oh my gosh, you're from Oklahoma, of course. And it was a really good experience. And then after the parade, we're all commuting back to Jersey, and my mom was like, you don't have to say anything. I've always known. Let me deal with your dad. And so that kind of confidence of knowing and understanding who I was without having the language or vernacular was really powerful. My mom always told me stories about how when she was pregnant with me, she went to the Mother's Day ball because she grew up in New York. There's ballroom culture. She would go to what they called the gay balls. I didn't know it at the time. That's what she was talking about, but I love those stories. And I think she was telling me those stories because she was telling me that it was okay to be me. Fast forward, I don't know, 20 years. I've had several bouts in treatment, two. I have multiple degrees, I'm completely self-sufficient, and I'm feeling like something is still in me that I'm not expressing. And so I start to research what it would look like for me to transition from male to female, or just kind of feminize my body and be non-binary. So through that, I start to kind of throw that out to some close friends, maybe I'm not male, maybe I'm not female, maybe I'm non-binary, and the acceptance and love was overwhelming, but it was also underwhelming because I was expecting this big kind of like, oh my gosh. And for a lot of them, it was like, well, yeah, of course. Like, I didn't, okay. And I started doing research on transitioning, what it would look like, hormones, what it would look like at my age, health-wise, mental health-wise, and things like that. And I decided to start transitioning, but I wanted to let my mom know, because the last thing I want to do is walk into her house like this, and she's like, okay, did I miss something? So I booked a trip to Hawaii. I was already going for work, and so I'm like, okay, I set up this wonderful little beachside conversation for her and I. And literally, the fear that I was feeling, she surprised me once again because she simply said, I love you. You are who you are as long as you're being safe. And that gave me such a sense of relief because while there were lots of people that I've told, or there are lots of people that I wanted to have a conversation with, I most wanted the acceptance and love of my mother. And so it felt really good to be me. She still fucks up the pronouns. She still calls me by Dedrick, which is my birth name. But for the most part, she respects and celebrates and enjoys who I am. I think that's my coming out story, which I've never told as succinctly as I just did now, but it felt great.